Hello, Cancers. Welcome to Souls Intersect. I have your September of 2016 Intuitive Tarot reading. I decided to do a larger spread for this month to give you a better idea of what my private readings are like. Obviously, for the private readings, you'd ask specific questions, so the reading would be much more direct. But I tend to use a larger spread for those, so I thought this would give you some idea of that. If you're interested in a private reading, please email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com, or you can book using the link below that takes you directly to my website. All right, I do see you coming up right in the center of the reading, which is nice. It feels that you are in a position where you're feeling grounded, you're feeling poised, and have all of your faculties about you, and it does seem in the process of making some sort of decision. It also feels like there's some chaotic energy around. So there's going to be a few different scenarios depending on some of you. I do feel that some of you are in a current relationship and are awaiting a decision that is outside of your realm of power. And then for others of you, I feel that you are making a decision, and for some of you, it could be both. I do feel that something that's happening is bringing up some things from your childhood or just some emotions from a time past that you maybe thought that you'd completely worked through but are facing again, or are revisiting to try to clear away. Or it could be that because of some of this chaos, you're feeling at some points like, your inner child is crying out a little bit, like you do feel like you could use some help with some of this. I also feel that this King of Pentacles, there's lots of court cards. So with the King of Pentacles and Queen of Swords, I feel that for some of you this may be parents. And it feels like your parents may be facing some sort of decision, or it could be a couple that you know pretty well. I also feel that these may be helpers of yours in some way. So a couple or two people that may be stepping in to help you in a decision-making kind of situation. And that may, again, be because you felt a bit like you were getting a little too emotional about it and maybe not in the best position to make the decision entirely on your own. But it does feel like it's something that impacts you greatly. One scenario I am seeing is that so I don't always read the Seven of Swords as betrayal or cheating, but because of some of the other cards around, I do get the sense that, especially with this Knight of Rods, so this could be a partner, this Knight of Wands, and he's kind of got his back towards this Four of Cups and Justice, which feels like a bit of a delay in some sort of decision. It could be about going separate ways. It could be about a divorce. That could also pertain to parents possibly contemplating something like this. But back to a partnership, I definitely see you not seeing eye to eye with someone with a lot of this fire energy. And coming up as the Knight, I feel like he or she could be younger and possibly made some sort of hasty decision about a passion, and that's why I feel like with the Seven of Swords in this case, there could have been some sort of betrayal. So kind of went with his passion or her passion in a way that was behind your back and hurt you, so it could be cheating. It could just be some sort of manipulation or backhandedness or dishonesty. And in some cases, maybe made a swift decision to leave too, because I also see this Knight looking at this Fool. So it feels like someone possibly could have walked away from a situation and you weren't expecting it. It could also be that you have not heard from this person for whatever reason and are awaiting that. But I do feel that there's a delay. It feels more emotional, so it feels like you're trying to decide. So, for example, trying to decide if you should leave someone or divorce someone. And I'm really seeing the two swords, the one in justice and then the one with the Queen of Swords, as signals that you may be having some struggles in making this decision. So while I do feel that you are being yourself as coming up in the center of this, that is also going to mean for you Cancers that you may be overwhelmed with emotion because you are so intuitive and so sensitive. And so I think some of that sword energy is coming in to try to encourage you to get to a place where you can make a more balanced decision, infuse a bit of logic. I would always encourage you to go with your gut and follow your heart, but I do think there may be some outside help that may be coming in. The strongest feeling I do get from the King of Pentacles and Queen of Swords is parental energy. It could also be in-laws, or again, a supportive couple. But I definitely feel like they're coming up here to help with this decision. And also with the Fool card, I do feel that ultimately it seems most likely that you're going to decide to go a new route. So that could be leaving a situation, an emotional situation, a relationship. And for some of you, this could not be related to love, possibly, or a relationship. So it could be a decision to start anew, go in a different direction in some other regard, actually moving or starting some sort of new type of work. And of course, we have the leap of faith element. So ultimately, while it does feel that there's a lot of emotion here and that there is encouragement to infuse some of that logic, sword energy, that ultimately you may have to take a leap of faith. So make a decision, balance these Two of Pentacles ultimately by deciding one way or the other without maybe having all the facts entirely. So really ultimately having to go with your gut on some level. Okay. I also just get the sense from this Knight of Rods or Wands character that they've kind of checked out in a way. This could also be a sibling. If it is in fact like parents going through divorce, this feels like it could be a sibling who just doesn't want to get involved, and you feel like you're bearing the brunt of a lot of this emotional part of it. And if it's a partner, it feels like this person is either absent, as I mentioned, or checked out and not really wanting to make a decision themselves. So one scenario, this isn't necessarily a message, it's just an example, is that there was cheating that happened and you're in a position where you really want a decision to be made and the other person just isn't partaking for some reason, like there's some stagnancy and maybe even a lack of fully acknowledging what they did. And it could be reversed as well. So the betrayal could be reversed. But it does feel like you're the one who is feeling the most responsible to make a decision right now, whereas the other person is not partaking. And I can feel that is really, it's interesting because I'm not seeing like anger or chaos. I'm seeing more that Page of Cups energy. So it's really affecting you emotionally in a deep way, and bringing up, for some of you, it may even be like just feeling like you want to kick and scream, just feeling like you want to throw a tantrum. But again, that's why I really like this bottom row, because some of that is coming up with the water in the background with the Two of Cups, so some of that chaotic emotional energy. But there's encouragement there to get grounded and to find a balance, and that whoever these two people are can really help. And if they're not people, if you don't feel like you have support around you, it could also be aspects of yourself So trying to get out of a space where you're immersed in some of that water energy as the Queen of Cups, getting into a space where you're balancing more grounded energy and more air energy. So some of that brain energy and logic to help with this phase. It does feel like a particularly tumultuous phase of this decision making, of this transition, this process that you're going through. And I want to also mention that you have your back turned to this Page of Cups, so some of that younger, troubling emotional energy, and also your back turned to the Fool with a focus on the Seven of Swords. So something that might also help in this situation is to try to take your mind and focus off of whatever happened in the past. And like I said, it could be a number of different things, but whatever it is, it does feel like a hurtful thing, an uneasy thing, something that didn't go as planned, or that just didn't feel like it was a fair or just thing that happened. And it's almost like this sense that you just can't, you're having trouble getting past that. I am hearing injustice. And I feel like that's a really good word to encompass what it might be, because for some of you it could be as extreme as a betrayal or cheating, but for some of you it could just be something not going as planned, or someone trying to get away with something. And so injustice, your mind is very focused on that injustice. And while it's bringing up some of this Page of Cups, lower emotional energy, you're feeling that, but you're not nurturing it. So you're letting yourself feel some of that energy, that emotional energy bubbling up beneath. I feel like some of you are feeling it in your stomach. I'm getting that message pretty strongly, that it just hits you right in the stomach. Also probably because of that betrayal. So I do feel a lot of emotion around this. But I feel like, again, the focus should be, so it's if you could turn and first try to take your focus off of the injustice, at least temporarily, and then nurture some of that inner child stuff that's coming up. And then I feel like that's going to kind of help you see in the distance this Fool energy coming in, where you will gain the strength, you will feel some of the spark and the fire that the Fool has, some of that fire energy, to help you blast through some of the water, some of the emotional stuff. And that you'll be able to see, at least in the distance, the potential of being able to move forward as that Fool, to take a new step in a new direction. Okay. And if it is someone else that you know who's going through this, and possibly parents, like I felt, or in-laws, I do again feel like that Knight of Rods person is checked out. And in that case, I feel like the middle row is saying something a little bit different. I feel like it's saying that you're trying to get involved and help this couple, possibly parents, make a decision, or at least try to mediate or help alleviate some of the trouble they're having in making a decision, or just some of the emotion that they're facing. You're taking it upon yourself, probably because this other person is checked out. But I also feel like you have some of your own stuff to process around it, especially if it's your parents getting divorced. I feel that the message is not to try to be this, it feels a little bit like you might be pretending that you're in a position where you can help and be like this neutral, grounded force, when actually it's bringing up some stuff for you that you should really focus on more so than helping them. So that's what the message is with that. You can be there for them still, but it feels like deal with how it's impacting you first. And then maybe you can step in at some point when you're feeling a little bit more grounded. Okay, so I will end this here. I would love to hear your comments about the spread used. In particular, if you liked that I used a larger spread, or if you prefer the 4-card spread. So feel free to leave comments or email me if you'd like. And if you'd like a private reading, please email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com. Thank you.